I gotta get this thing down on the ground. And then I gotta make sure that this adapter, it's like way shallower than the other one that I have. Oof, heavy. Be nice if I had my engine hoist over here, or I had about 6 more people to help me pick this up. Oh! Huh, got it. Thing's heavy. I'm hoping this just bolts up and wires up like the internet said it would, going from the Alright, now I gotta get that keeper off of there. Found all my bolts. They did not want that to fall off of there. I was up until 2 o'clock this morning rearranging both shops and getting all the projects moved around and whatnot. I don't know if I'll work that late again now. I think it's probably 11 or 11:30. Boy, this thing is not very stable. Like, maybe not at all. Yeah, it might stay there. I hope I have enough stroke on my jack to get it up here high enough. I don't think I do. Oh, I might luck out here. Oh, you know what? I got double doweled. I have a dowel that stayed in the transmission, and I have a dowel that stayed in the engine. And they are both in the same hole. So one of them's got to go. Got to get a pair of vice grips. Nope. I'll get a hammer and a punch. I wish I would have noticed that when I was sitting on the ground and I didn't have to worry about it rolling one way or the other and getting away from me here. There we go. It's funny that the same size wrench took that dowel out as I took my transmission mount off with. You wouldn't expect those to be the same tool. This is one of those times where I need my ratchet strap helper. Before I pull these together, I'm going to see if I have any of the torque converter bolt holes in the right place. Just because it might be easier now than later. Because with these new bell housings, you can't get to the whole bottom like you used to be able to. That should at least be close. that's on there. Now I gotta leave this jack under here because it's now supporting things. The best part is that 4-speed Atlas T-case is probably gonna outweigh that transmission. Man, that thing is stout too. I'm gonna have to put another cross member in here and build a rear mount for it just because there's so much weight there. So this adapter's broke and I need to take some measurements off of that transfer case anyway and see how far out the input splines stick. See if I'll get good engagement with that adapter, if it'll fit this transmission, if it'll give me the right spacing to where I get plenty of mesh into my splines. Then I will put the RTV on that and we'll mount it to this transmission. Okay, so I tried every one of the different adapters and stuff that I had for the transfer case to the transmission. This piece here, this is the piece that was on this transmission that the mount flanges all broke off of. That one is too short and it's clocked about 80 degrees out of what would maybe even possibly work. So that one was a bust. The other one that I have is this one. This one does not match this transmission in any way, shape, or form. Won't work at all. So I did what any red-blooded American would do, and I called Advanced Adapters. Not sponsored, unfortunately. They sent me a box. I'm kind of new to this, so I ripped it open to check it out, and I didn't have a camera on. Sorry. Anyway, a mock unboxing here real quick. So this is what Advanced sent me. And I got a tag wheel for some sort of a speedometer vehicle speed sensor that this transmission possibly needs. It's probably actually a speed sensor that was in the transfer case on the 4L80E or the 4L60. I'm guessing. I'm not sure. I always ran the older stuff rather than getting into this electronically controlled stuff. But new era, new horsepower, new performance gains when we get into this newer stuff. In my rig, I ran a small block Chevy that I punched out 60 over and put Keith Black forged pistons in and some good connecting rods and all that stuff. I had it built for either boost or NOS. I never did either one because I didn't need it. I built that rig to get into the XRRA racing series, and then I got it done, and then kind of life happened and I missed the next season, and then the following season it just kind of faded out, and the King of the Hammers basically took over and phased it out. So I never got to race it, but that's what it was built for. But that small block Chevy, I'd take it to Moab and, I'd run it up sheer cliffs and faces and stuff, and I'd roll it over and let it smoke and everything. And then I would bring it home, pull the engine, and roll a new set of bearings in it just to be safe. And everything at the time was so readily available and it was cheap that was just the way for me to go. And I had an Edelbrock fuel injection on it and all kinds of fancy stuff to where it ran really good, had great horsepower, was really responsive and everything. And I didn't have to deal with all the new age stuff. It was just plug and play and, you know, hammer down and have fun without worrying about all that stuff. But that was years ago, and the LS stuff was kind of just getting hot and heavy at that time because it was a while ago. I put my drive lines off of my old crawler. My old crawler, the engine sat way back, so the front drive line was really long in it, and the back drive line was really short. Well, this one is kind of the opposite. So the front drive line looks like it's going to work in the back. On this, the front drive line is too short. Well, the back from my crawler to the front of this one is too short, so I'll have to have somebody modify that. They are Tom Woods drive shafts, which I highly recommend. They're very fast in returning stuff to you and everything. But I'll probably have a local guy just cut this shaft here apart and throw a new tube in it and make it, you know, that much longer so it'll work in here. That way it's local. I can run in there, drop it off, they can have it to me. I could call Tom Woods today and I would get a drive line, like, this is Friday. I would have a drive line Monday or Tuesday. They're that fast. And they're not here local, but. So I'm gonna pull this off and then we'll slap this on real quick like, and we'll see if it's going to work. Okay, we got the 97 Toyota 4Runner that we call 4Crawler back on the 2-post. We got some new lighting so we can see. First order of business, as you can see, this 4-speed Atlas transfer case isn't mating up, and that's because these studs that look like this are too long, they're protruding too far, and they're running into the other flange on that advanced adapter to take the Atlas 4-speed to the 4L80E. So first order of business, I got to cut 6 of these down 3/4 of an inch to an inch. Okay, I got all of the studs cut and I've got them double nutted. If any of you have never installed a stud, if you put 2 nuts on them like that and then tighten them up against each other, and then always turn on the one that's going to press against the other one, whether you're going in or out. And we'll put a little bit of blue thread lock on this and we'll get the studs installed, and then we will put the transfer case back on the transmission. I don't have the bolts that go from the adapter to the transmission tight yet, and I don't have the tag wheel for the speed sensor on the snout of the input on the Atlas yet, but we'll get to that. So let's slap a little blue thread lock on these. We'll put one in and then I'll do the rest without you. A little bit goes a long ways. Put a dab on there. The reason that this stuff doesn't set up in the jug is actually when you tighten it in there, the lack of oxygen is what sets that stuff off. Then we'll make sure we put it in this far hole so that the transfer case will be as flat as possible. These don't have to be ungodly tight. That blue Loctite will hold it in there. course I drop in nuts. Okay, that stud is installed. I'll knock out the other 5. So we have a speed sensor here that will read off of a tag wheel that goes on the nose of the transfer case, the Atlas. From the mounting flange into the center of this sensor is 1 1/8 inches. So we want to put this tag wheel. It's got this collar on it. It wants to go with the collar back towards the T case. And then we just want a gap here where we're not rubbing. And we'll put a dab of blue Loctite on the 3 set screws. Snug them on down, and then we have automatic transmission gasket maker. We'll put a little bead of that around the mounting flange. I got the mounting flange on both of them good and clean. I took a scraper to this and got all the silicone off of it, and then just took a little piece of kind of worn out red Scotch-Brite from the body shop end of things and just clean that up nice. Let's put this tag wheel on for this sensor real quick. Oh, I don't know why, but this stuff is so thick that it about won't come out of this tube. Much as I don't want to, I'm going to make a bigger hole here. Okay, let's come in with this transfer case. I'm going to set it down and get a hold of it where my hand might not get smashed here, and where I can see my bolts. Okay, now let's get the arms under here and we'll pick it up, put some axles under it. Since these that are under it can't stay here, I gotta go.